Hi, Jasmine.
Hi everyone.
What's good?
How you doing? How you doing?
Good.
Welcome to our first Heart to Heart show. Are you excited? Gonna get deep conversations. I don't know where to go. Where are we gonna start? So, should we introduce ourselves? Who's starting? Jerome, Amoy. We got.
All right, cool. So I'm being nominated. But okay, what's going on, guys? I'm Amoy. I am also a host on Heart to Hearts, and I am the co-CEO of Hearts of Talent, and I'm also an upcoming artist. And yeah, like there's more to me, but as this podcast goes along, everyone will hear more about me. So yeah, next person to go.
Hi everyone, I'm Jerome Harvey Ajay. I'm a growth facilitator and an ambassador for Hearts of Talent, and I'm just here to learn, listen, and have great connections and good conversation. Is it that way?
That way.
Hey, my name's K9. I'm a music artist from East London, Hackney. I'm also an actor and a youth mentor, and most recently an ambassador for Hearts of Talent.
Hi guys, my name's Angelina. I am the PA to Hearts of Talent, which is an anti-knife crime project. I am also going to be a mentor alongside Amoy, I think that way on my screen. We've got Jerome as our co-host with Amoy and myself, which is going to be our podcast every week or every other week. We will let you know and update you guys. Today, we're interviewing K9, as you heard. As he said, he is a musician, mentor, everything out there. He got his foot in all the waters, helping all the young kids, the youthful people. And we are going to discuss many things people don't want to talk about, alongside, I guess, a racial aspect, because I guess we're all coloured people here, so we can get real deep into it. So should we go with K9? Do you want to kind of give us your background story, your bio, what you do, how you feel, how you got into it?
Yeah, so I've been doing music for quite some time, to be fair, like since a teenager. I'm in my 30s now. I started off doing poetry, really. I was very interested in English in school, so poetry and comprehension was something that I enjoyed doing, and that developed into me songwriting and writing my own lyrics. And yeah, I haven't stopped doing it since. In the last few years, I've taken it more seriously, like as a business, and trying to make success of it. Before it was just like a hobby, but slow progress is better than no progress, and it's been good so far. I also do a bit of acting, and as I mentioned, youth mentor is what I do on a day-to-day basis, working with kids and trying to help them develop some of their skills, some life skills for life, basically.
Can I ask what made you want to go into being a mentor? What was it about that kind of arena? Obviously, being a musician, I know how difficult that is, but why add that title of a mentor onto what you're doing already?
Do you know what? It was something that I was always planning to do, not necessarily as a title as a mentor, but I've always wanted to be able to give back, on whatever skills I have and knowledge I have. I want to share that to others who may need that. And I also remember a time in school myself. I was having trouble in school, and I had a mentor at the time in school, and that helped me a lot to get through the difficulty I was getting through. And today in schools, there are no mentors in schools. Schools have taken out the whole mentor role, and now there's teaching assistants. And although teaching assistants are very good, it's not the same role as what a mentor does. So there's a lack of mentor in schools, and yeah, I'm just happy to get involved and bring some of that quality back.
Big up yourself, bro. Big up yourself.
Bro.
Speaking of like mentors, you just said mentors in school. Like me growing up, obviously I'm only 20, guys, so I'm still not grown up yet. But as I was in high school, because I know my year was kind of like the last year-ish to have the old school teaching in a way, where the mentors and you've got the people that support you. And as I grew older in like the school system, it became a thing where like they started to slowly take out the mentors, and then you started to see like kids doing more like on the road stuff and not pushing them on the right track. It was just teachers became, okay, we're going to teach you and we're going to leave you. It was only like some teachers that they're only there for you and try to push you to have your full potential. And
that's the thing. Sorry, I was just saying that the thing, teachers are there to teach. So that's what they're paid to do, is teach the subjects, whether you want to learn it or not or take it in. That's kind of not their problem. Whereas a mentor has more of a personal or more of a one-on-one relationship with that student, where they understand the needs and the difficulties they're going through and try to tailor that for them to get through. So yeah.
Yeah, I agree 100% with that one there. Because I'd rather have a mentor than a teacher just doing their thing.
I think you need both. You need a teacher to teach what the knowledge and education. But if you are having difficulties, not everyone has difficulties. Some people are get on pretty fine in school and can concentrate and can focus. But if there are other aspects of you having difficulty learning, a mentor can definitely be help towards that.
And for you, if you didn't have a mentor, what would that have meant for you? What would you have? What was the value of having that in your life?
Probably would have led to earlier exclusions. It's just having that person that will give you that chance, that understands you more, to give you that chance for you to prove yourself. Because they see potential in you, whereas teachers might not really see potential in you. But they've got 30 kids to deal with in the class as well, so it's not always having that time to deal with you.
Did you have a personal mentor that kind of helped you through your like younger stages? Is that why you have that connection?
Yeah, that's why I know it really works, because I had a mentor. I had like anger management in school, and instead of me getting told off, I'll be like, I could see myself getting angry and be like, I need to go speak to my mentor, and I'll be let out of class, and I was allowed to speak to my mentor for 10 minutes, calm down or whatever, and then return to class. So yeah, mentors are definitely useful. And even if like teaching assistants could learn like the education that mentors learn, so they can maybe apply the same sort of skills into schools as well, if they don't want to hire mentors, at least give teaching assistants more of an understanding of what the mentor role is.
Do you think it's oh, sorry, go on Jerome. Okay, do you think kind of teaching assistant can learn that trait though? Do you think people just have that kind of mentor instincts, or can it be taught?
It definitely can be taught. I've done courses and I've had training to become a mentor. There is some aspects of it which are natural. For example, I'm considered an expert in gang culture with Youth Mentor, and that's only because of my background and the sort of connection I can have, or the understanding youths have with me coming from that background. So because I can relate to them in a certain way, my message gets across differently to them, or more convincing to them than someone who they don't really think has been through or gone through the same thing as them. They don't necessarily take heed to that advice.
So we just had a comment saying that teachers need mentoring themselves. How would you kind of advise on that?
Yeah, teachers do need mentoring. It'll be a different type of mentoring, because obviously I'm trained to deal with youths and vulnerable youths. Teachers would need mentoring for teachers, you know, probably someone who's had experience in teaching for a long while and is not a teacher anymore, and, you know, seeing how the curriculums change and things in the curriculum, they could offer their advice as a mentor to up and coming teachers, because a lot of teachers are, not a lot of teachers, but there are young teachers nowadays, you know, 24, 25, teaching, and still could probably do with some of the knowledge themselves.
I think that's important what you're saying, because, you know, as they say, there's a saying like, you can tell me what to do, but are you the model of what you want to see? So if you're telling a young person to behave and deal with stress and trauma, how does a teacher deal with trauma in a classroom? And then what are you learning as a child in that? I wanted to touch on, because this is obviously about violence. So in your experience, have you had any experience of violence, and how has it affected you growing up? If so.
I have had quite a lot of experience in violence and gang culture, growing up in East London, Hackney, being exposed to gang culture. And I guess it has affected me long term. You know, it kind of restricts you being involved in any conflict with another area or gangs, because, you know, there's places you can't go, or you can go, but you have to go a certain way and be protective, and there's so many dynamics into it. But I think what's the most scary thing about it is how it's become such normal, how it's become so normal. You know, like, you could talk to somebody else who hasn't had this background and they'll be like, what? That is crazy what you've been through. Like, you know what I mean? I can't believe you're saying this stuff. But to a lot of people in my area, or living from this background, it's just so normal. Like, carrying a knife is normal, being in a gang is normal, getting involved in violence is normal. And that's what's the scary thing. Why is it the norm? Why is that lifestyle just become so normal, to the point where it's glamorized, to the point where, you know, it's now seen as a cool thing? It's not just like it's something that has to be done and this is what it is. It's something that people glamorize to do. You know what I mean? So we have to start looking at why that is, and who's pushing these agendas, who's pushing these narratives to make culture seem cool and things like that.
So how does that fit into kind of society as approach on violence of young people?
Society's approach, I feel like the community just need to do more. Yeah, parents, you know, people in the neighborhood, obviously the government as well, but people just need to do more themselves. A lot of people talk about giving back and helping their community, but who's really doing stuff? You know, I'd like to give a big shout out to a guy called Farron Alex Paul. He runs an Amnesty where he collects knives off of youths. You know, he makes himself accessible so youths can give their knives to him, and then he hands them into the police station. So, you know, having more people like that, creating charities and amnesties where they can physically take these knives off the street and hand them into the police station, that's fantastic. You know, if there was more people doing stuff like that, it would definitely make a difference. You know, I remember some time ago there was like community bins, like anonymous bins that were placed around in London. You can go put your knife in the bin and just walk away anonymously. You won't get in trouble for it. Nothing. They're taking that stuff away. Do you know what I mean? There should be more of them. Why are they taking them away? If the knife crime's risen, why are we taking away the community bins where people can throw away their knives. It makes no sense. So I think we just need to do more leaders, more influencers need to have more talks with children in schools and in colleges and give their stories and make them aware of what it's really like, you know, getting involved in knife crime.
You know, I think that's all true because I feel like because we had like someone said in the not someone, Laverne said in the comments, it was basically they've lost their identities. And it's true. I feel like youth nowadays have lost their identity in a sense of, you know, like years ago when I was little, there was the youth clubs where you can go after school, you can chill with your pupils, and let's be real, there wasn't really as much like knife crime that was happening back then that there is happening now. And that's because youth had something actively to do. And because technically the government took it away, it was just, what do we do next? And what's funny is that there's so many organizations like Hearts of Talent, like United Borders that are actively in the communities trying to do something, but it's just that the government don't want to take notice of it, and they don't really want to give funding towards something like this because they want to keep it the way how it is because it gives them some sort of control. You get what I'm saying? So
yeah, and that's why I said, you know, we can't rely on the government. We really have to do like our own work within the community. You know, whatever sort of influence or power you have, use it for the good. Use it. You know.
Can I talk about? I want to touch on a little bit about healing. So obviously, you're saying that you've had a lot of experience. Have you had the opportunity to have like healing and understand what's happened, the impact it's had on you? Because, you know, like I've been through my own experience and I'm like, yo, I've had to heal in certain areas. And I'm like, yo, I'm seeing like people are traumatized across the board, whether you've just seen someone get stabbed, whether you're a family member, whether you've had, you know, incidents happen to you personally. Like that's traumatizing. So how have you managed to overcome those barriers?
Me personally, I think I've had to exclude myself from that environment first, because you can't heal if you're still caught up in what's going on. So for me, I had to find another purpose. I had to find my purpose. And for me, that was music. And again, like working with the youth. And once I found something to really focus on and to pursue, it took all my energy and my time. So I had no time to do anything else. And that allowed me to heal because I wasn't in that environment no more. So I think the first thing you need to do is just break yourself away from that environment, you know, and you start to see things differently. You know, being involved in a gang, or what, I don't like to use the word gang so much, but being involved in any sort of violent, organized crime, it's like a trap, you know. It's a trap, you know. There's rules to abide by. There's people that you think you have to be loyal to. There's unwritten rules that go on in these streets. You know what I mean? And it's like Amoy said, you can't be yourself. There's people that want to be themselves. There's people that have talents and skills that they're not even progressing on or not even aware of because they're in a gang and they're just focused on gang. They don't know that they can sing. They don't know they can dance, or they don't know they've got a talent for art or whatever, because all they can see right now is like gang culture and that's taking up their energy. So for me to heal, I just had to remove myself from that situation and start to see other advantages and other things in life.
Can I throw a curveball in there? I want to say, does seeing it in music, for instance, seeing how the system allows for certain music to be played out, how guys glorify, you know, killing each other and this road life, does that re-traumatize you in any way? Or does it make you shoot? Because I get it, for me, I like the energy of like, yeah, like certain times I'm in a certain mood, I want to listen to certain energy of music. But at the same time, is it healthy for us to be revisiting these things through?
Does the trauma trigger yourself? Do you get that trigger from that trauma?
I'm no longer traumatized because I feel like I'm fully healed. Things that have happened to me, you know, I've gotten over it or forgiven the person or whatever, and things that I've done, I believe I've had the consequences that's supposed to come to me or whatever. So I'm just like, I'm over it. I've healed. And I know I've healed because like it can affect you mentally, emotionally. So people get, you know, paranoia, anxiety, fear of going out. You know, if you've been stabbed on the bus before, you might not want to go on the bus again. If you've been stabbed in the club, you might not want to go raving again. Do you know what I mean? So I know I've healed because I don't have those barriers. I don't have fear. I don't have anxiety. I don't have paranoia when it comes to the aspects of things. So that definitely makes me know that I've healed.
Okay, now we got a comment that's Laverne asked, "How did you heal?" So I think this is like a general question. So like it's like the tools of how you heal, like because you know how young people don't know how to heal, and it's like we become very angry and we suppress everything that we feel, and then burst of energy that could either lead us getting killed or being in prison. So
you just have to. I think you have to be able to talk to somebody, but it's also knowing who to talk to, or if not talking, just finding a way to vent. Like I do music, I write lyrics, so that's always my outlet. Do you know what I mean? If anything's going up in here, I can put it down on a pen and paper for me, and that lets me vent somewhat. So that's a big part of my healing. As I said before, just removing myself from that situation, so I'm not around toxic people that's reminding me of that lifestyle. That's a part of healing. And yeah, just finding my purpose, finding something that I'm really passionate about. Because I'm not passionate about, who's passionate about violence and gang stuff, unless you're really a malicious, vindictive, evil person. Do you know what I mean? Really shouldn't have it might be something you do currently for whatever reason. You shouldn't have a love for it or a passion for it. So find what your passion is in life and pursue that. It's the best feeling ever.
So can we go deeper in that and go into the identity and also how it is regarding kind of getting out of certain aspects that you feel trapped, but you also feel trapped in your identity, so you're kind of stuck in kind of two dimensions?
That's a true thing. I think a lot of youths are struggling to find their identity, or struggling to be open about who their identity is. Peer pressure is not just a thing in school. You leave college, it's still happens, amongst your peers on the roads or who you're hanging around with. So I think, sorry, what was the question before I go off again? Let me round back into it.
It's like being trapped in like the two worlds, for instance, of losing your identity and the like violence of young people, because the identity is a big part in both.
Yeah. So people do feel trapped, and I think that's because they're behaving or being what they think you're supposed to be like when in a gang. No one wants to truly be themselves. They're just being what you think is expected of them. The moment you build a confidence and you don't care what anybody else thinks and you're happy to just be yourself, I think that's when you really start to excel and show differences. And people respect that as well. People respect you being yourself. You know what I'm saying? People try and get respect by being somebody who they think they want them to be, but you actually be yourself and you get more respect for it anyway. So
do you think that happens in the social media world that we live in? Like everyone wants to be like, social media has a big effect on everybody there. Like,
yeah, that social media has a big effect on so many aspects of life now. It's just a part of life now. It's crazy. The whole social media subject is crazy. But yeah, of course it has a big aspect on things, definitely.
Because for me, sorry, go on.
Go on, Amoy.
Now I was saying for me, like social media, I feel like it has an effect with like knife crime and stuff, because everyone's on this like this social media beef, and it don't make sense.
Yeah, listen, nobody really wants to have beef. A lot of these beefs are like, they're just conditioned beefs. Yeah, so I'm from this area and we don't get on with that area, and that's why we're having beef. But there's not really much personal conflict between each other. Yeah, there might be one or two people that's got a personal vendetta or anything, and the rest is all just following the fashion. And what happens is it goes on for so much time, and within that time things happen that it grows and develops. But really, nobody wants to be out here fighting for, an area or a postcode that nobody owns. You might not even live here in 10 years. And, do you know what I mean? It's just not worth it, innit? And I think it's easy to say it's not worth it, now being out of it. It's harder to say it when you're in it and you're involved and you've got people after you and you've got to protect yourself. But mostly that's the word there, protection. So you wanting to protect yourself shows you that it's a defense mechanism. It's not an attacking thing. You're not going out there like, I want to stab everybody. You're going out there carrying it for your protection in case you get attacked, to defend yourself. Yeah. So really, you're carrying a knife out of fear. You're feared that you're gonna get stabbed, and now you carry it. So you, just in case you do get attacked, you have some sort of way of defending yourself.
Yeah,
You can still get stabbed carrying a knife as well.
that's true.
You could get stabbed by your own knife that you're carrying. So you really got to.
That's deep.
That is so deep. You know what I was
That's
thinking?
deep. Real deep.
I was thinking we needed some effects that went.
The intention is never really malicious. I think a lot of the time it's out of fear or out of panic. You know, someone gets into a situation and they panic and they stab someone and that's what happens, or they're fear for their life or something, and then they stab someone out of fear. I never really think it's intentional, or even if it is intentional, I never really think anyone wants to kill anybody. You know, they stab somebody thinking, I'm going to stab them.
Yeah.
But don't realize, wait, you're actually possibly taking a life here. They could bleed out. You stab them in the wrong vein, the wrong artery. Like, so, and then, you know, a simple stabbing, I'm just going to stab him, turns into a murder. Do you know what I mean? So these are the things that people are not thinking about when getting involved with knife crime.
But do you think that ties into the person losing their identity, but also having that identity of that knife association? Do you think that's where they feel they fit in? Like it is kind of lost down the line. It's like a limbo. But we do have to keep it short because we're running out of time.
Yeah.
So we have to watch what we're saying.
I feel like we should frown upon violence and knife and culture. I think what's happening in this society is very glamorized on. So youth are still thinking it's cool to carry a knife and be a gang. The minute we make that narrative not cool, and you're not cool if you're in a gang, you're not cool if you carry a knife, you're actually an idiot, then I think we will have more of a change. Because he wants to be an idiot. He wants to be seen as an idiot. If the narrative is that you're an idiot if you're in a gang, or you're an idiot if you're, you know, in violence, or you're an idiot if you go to prison. People will try to stop being in that category, but because it seems so cool right now, it's hard to deflect people from it. But we have to try and keep trying.
That is real stuff. Real stuff. I know we are running out of time. Jerome, did you have something?
Yeah, I know. I mean, I completely agree. I think there's something in us as adults just kind of being models so that we can help, you know, kids acknowledge trauma, and our vulnerability is our power. And so it's like creating meaning out of some of the things that we go through, because a lot of the people, you know, there's a thing called fruits and roots. So a lot of the time the fruit is the behavior, but there's a root to it, which could be identity. It could be, you know, how traumatized young people, you don't know if they're going through domestic violence, poverty, whatever it is. But I wanted to just ask K9, like, if you had a message for any young people listening now, to inspire and motivate them to kind of steer them away from this kind of lifestyle, what would it be?
Don't be afraid to just be yourself. You know, be yourself, not what people think you should be, but what you really want to be in life. And
I have to pick up Laverne there. Sorry to cut you, K9. That's her slogan. Can I just be me? Which I relate to. Can I just be me? You got to do you and have your own identity. Don't follow anybody else. So big up Laverne on that one. Sorry, K9.
Yeah, no, that was it. Literally, be yourself. Find your own confidence. Be yourself, and yeah, others will follow, man. It's only the sheep that follow, you know, the fall into that thing. But yeah, are you a sheep or are you a shepherd?
That's true. That's true.
Be yourself. Everyone else is taken.
Exactly. Can I just be me?
Good one.
Do you
give us a closing out statement, guys? I know it was fun, but Jerome, you can close us out.
Yeah, K9, I want to thank you for your time, your authenticity, your service to others, man. It's been a pleasure. This has been Hearts of Talent. You've got to come back on again, obviously, Mr. Ambassador. So we're gonna have to pick up this conversation because the comments are going crazy. So
part two
is calling on us. But yeah, have a great evening, everyone. Stay amazing. And from Hearts of Talent, over and out.
We got Hearts of Talent. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, send it to your people, them, do whatever you have to do. Share it like share it. That's how you want to share it. You get me? I know we're running out of time, but do you? And yeah.
Okay, I don't know. It was this side. Check the logo.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I haven't got one, by the way.
That's coming soon. Coming soon.
We're coming.
Thank you.
Have a great evening, all.
Take care, guys.